Welcome back to the Jon Krawczynski Show. He is Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. This is a TalkNorth.com production. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app or just keep checking us out on YouTube, however you want to access the show. We appreciate it. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius Home Services. Summer is flying by and will be over before we know it. Don't waste it on repairs. From flickering lights to not-so-hot water heaters, let Aquarius take care of your to-do list. With $98 off any electrical or plumbing repair, we're ready to rescue your summer from household headaches so you can enjoy a worry-free home. Aquarius, local, trusted, and earning the right to be recommended. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com.
Hey, this is Randy Shaver. Along with Kevin Gorg, we host the show Fantasy Huddle on Talk North. Each week, we're going to break down the matchups for the NFL season and try to give you the best chance to win your fantasy football games each and every week. Join us for Fantasy Huddle on Talk North.
And the Jon Krawczynski Show is presented to you by Giggly THC Beverages, Giggly.com, and Lexus, Wayzata, and Maplewood. We'll tell you, and we also will have a Twitter question sponsored by Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Line at the end of the show. We'll talk about the schedule. We'll talk about some practice developments, talk about Mike Conley's hole-in-one and if that has any basketball meaning. But let's start off, John, with developments with the Timberwolves depth chart at the all-important position of point guard.
Yeah, so like at this point in August, there's often not a whole lot to look at in terms of tangible moves or decisions that are going to affect the on-court product. But one thing that we reported at The Athletic late last week that has been solidified is they have decided on Bones Hyland as sort of the fourth guard, kind of in that point guard-ish, combo guard-ish rotation with Dillingham, Mike Conley, you have Bones, you have Dante DiVincenzo. So you have several different options for them. But they had been spending most of this summer sort of evaluating their options at that spot. They believe that with Mike Conley being the age he is, Rob Dillingham being the age that he is, that they wanted another person that could handle the ball, that could run the offense, that could score some, and give them, some sort of dynamic element as well. And so they went and looked at a bunch of different candidates. They looked at Malcolm Brogdon. They looked at Cam Payne. They looked at Landry Shamet. They looked at a bunch of guys that many of them that were certainly more established than Bones Hyland, but ultimately they kind of came to the conclusion that with where they're at, with what Bones brings, with what they want out of that group, and with what they want financially, and we can get into all those things here, that Bones Hyland is going to be the guy. It may not be official yet for some time, but Bones Hyland is going to be the face back in that point guard kind of contingent over some of the more established names that we've seen kind of thrown out there as well.
What's he bring to the table?
First and foremost, Tim Conley drafted him in the first round in Denver and has always been a big believer in his game. And, it's not surprising because that Conley took Rob Dillingham last year, because they're a little similar and they're undersized guards, but they're very shifty. He's got a great handle. He can get his shot off in, against any kind of different defender. And he's kind of got a microwave type scoring ability. He's one of those streaky shooters that if he gets going, he can hit from the outside. He can break it down off the dribble and get to the basket. I think that they still want to see some more passing, some more facilitating, but all in all, he is a player that Tim Conley really believes can play in this league. I do not think that Bones Hyland is being brought in because they don't think that he's sort of a threat to Dillingham or anything like that. I think that Tim Conley really thinks that in the right situation with the right people around him, that Bones Hyland can be an effective player in this league and in the NBA. And so he will come into camp certainly down the depth chart, but with the president of basketball operations, really looking at him as kind of one of those guys who just come off the bench and give you 12 points in 8 minutes, knock down some threes, get out in transition, run the floor, kind of like just break stuff and make things happen. And there's going to be inefficiencies. There's going to be turnovers. There's going to be some shot selection things that you deal with at times with Bones Highland, but they see upside in the offensive explosiveness that he can bring to the table.
Do you think they were ever serious about bringing in a more of a name player to help the point guard?
I do, Jim. I think that from what I've told from the camps with other players that kind of were thrown out in the discussion here, is that Tim Conley, Matt Lloyd, they had real conversations with several players about the possibility of coming in. And I do think that several of the candidates at one point or another in this summer believed that there was a real strong chance that they were going to be playing for the Timberwolves this season. And so this was definitely not, from what I can gather, any kind of fake hustle on the Wolves' part, or, I don't think that this was predetermined that they wanted Bones Highland and they were just kind of, reaching out to some players because then they could say, hey, yeah, we checked into it and it didn't work out. No, they had substantive conversations with guys about what the role looked like, about money, about, all sorts of different scenarios. And ultimately they did decide on Bones Highland. Now, there is a financial component to this as well, because they are, real close to that second apron. They're, I think, right around $6 million below at this moment. And they had technically the 5.7 taxpayer mid-level exception that they could have used, but that would put them right up against the tax with zero financial flexibility to operate. And so I do think that plays a role in Bones Highland. I would imagine he's going to, I think this is still to be determined, but he's going to get a minimum deal. I would imagine there's some partial guarantees that would be involved in something like that. And so having him does give them some more financial flexibility, and some more just wiggle room, which every little bit counts. Like if you want to make a trade in the season, if you want to, kind of just be able to be nimble with what you have to have contracts that are either easily moved or can be bought out for very little. And I think that might be one of the things for Bones. First and foremost, they do believe in him as a player, but certainly that financial component comes into play. The other part that does come into play, I think, Jim, is that they really do want Rob Dillingham to have a real avenue to playing time, even if early in the season it's not perfect and he is struggling a little bit. You invest the 8th overall pick in him. You want to see him out there playing. And if you bring in a Malcolm Brogdon or a Cam Payne who is a little more established, who has had more success, and has played in playoff games and things like that, it can be very easy if things aren't going well early to be like, oh, all right, we're going to go to the veteran and we're going to put Rob in Iowa again and just kind of try that again later. I think that this construction right now really does tell Rob Dillingham, hey, we believe in you. You have to go out there and do it. And we are going to stick through some things and like let you play through some mistakes because we need you. And so I think all of those factors are really kind of aligning here in the decision to go with Bones Highland over some of the other guys.
Let's get to an interesting moment for another point guard on the Timberwolves roster. First, I want to tell you about Giggly THC Beverages, GIGLI.com. Promo code Giggly North will get you up to 50% off your first order. After that, if you check out their social media, you will find discounts for other drinks. I drink these all the time. My wife drinks them all the time. I drink the cocktails. My wife drinks the teas. We also like the seltzers. They're now coming out with, they've done so well. They've sold so many cans that they are now putting out more and more candies, gummies, chocolates, everything else. Go to giggly.com. You'll find their full arsenal. I still rely on the cocktails. It gives me something that tastes like a cocktail. It's made with natural ingredients, fruit juice, ashwagandha, ginseng, no hangover, no lethargy. I sleep well. It's really become kind of a big part of my life, and I wouldn't say that if it weren't true. So go to giggly.com. You can also go to Quick Trips and other stores around Minnesota to buy them. I just order them online, have them delivered to my door. I'm about to do that for another shipment right now because I go through it so fast. I just can't recommend it enough. Giggly.com will be good for you. It'll be good for your life. Let's hear from John on Lexus Wayzata and Maplewood.
If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they have got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
So what happened recently with Mike Conley?
Yeah, we're recording this on Tuesday, and I believe it was this morning or late last night, put on Instagram that he got a hole in one while he was golfing. And to watch it, they play the whole thing out. He didn't get the swing on camera, but the first thing that you see in the video is Conley is on his golf cart with he has a friend or someone on speakerphone that he dialed, and he's saying, "Hey, I think I had to call you because I saw it disappear, and I'm not exactly sure. But I think it happened. I think it happened." And they're rolling up to the green, and he gets out and he walks up. He's like, "I don't see the ball. I don't see the ball." And then he goes in and he looks in the hole, and there it is, right in the hole, and he just runs a lap around the green. He's celebrating like he won the NBA finals. And so to watch, a millionaire, multi-millionaire athlete, superstar NBA player, who's had an unbelievable career, to have this organic moment of excitement, in that way for a hole in one on a golf course. I think like he reacted like anyone would react, in that there was no cool, there was no calm, there was no collection. It was losing his mind, running around the course, and celebrating the thing. So it was a really cool kind of organic moment to see captured on video for Mike. And it really does, like, it kind of goes to like his, kind of physical ability right now. Like last year, he couldn't do a lot of golfing because he couldn't golf much at all with his wrist, with the ankle stuff that he had after the playoffs. And that really did set him back some. And so to see him out there, to see him running around like a crazy man, I think that's a really good sign for him going forward. But just that moment and seeing him be a real person it's fun to watch. It's on his Instagram for fans who want to go see it.
It's very encouraging to me as a lousy golfer. I now know that I have almost as many holes in one as Mike Conley.
Almost as many. So you haven't got one. Yeah. Yep,
if I hit the green, I run a lap. Okay.
Yes.
If I hit the green, that's what I celebrate. Putting in the little hole, I just don't think that should be as important part of the game.
You're just out there. My approach, and I don't golf very much at all, but my approach has always been, if I'm paying money to be on this golf course, I want to see the whole golf course. I want to see the rough. I want to see the woods. I want to see the water. Anyone can hit it in the hole, but it takes real skill and efficiency in terms of getting your money's worth to go everywhere. The sand to go. That's what I like to do, and I think Mike is much further ahead than me on that part of it. But yeah, I like to go and utilize the entire course. That's my specialty.
I once saw Kirby Puckett swing at a golf ball, driver, teed up, and miss. That's how hard that stupid game is. I don't know if anybody who's had better hand-eye coordination than Kirby Puckett. And he could hit a 102-mile-an-hour fastball thrown in his neck into the right field stands, and he missed the golf ball. That's how stupid that game is.
Well, I see like LeBron has recently taken it up, and his swing is only one step or two steps ahead of Charles Barkley. Like it is mechanical, muscle it out kind of a thing. And yeah, one of the most athletic people that has ever walked the face of the earth. Yeah, you put that in his hands and you ask him to kind of look like anything close to professional, and nope, not a chance.
Nope,
so
it's a brutal game. All right, let's get to what you're hearing about Timberwolves workouts. Let's talk about the schedule. But first, I want to tell you about TSR Injury Law. They're really the original sponsor of this program. They helped this show and TalkNorth.com get off the ground. They've been great allies, and they're the kind of company we like to work with. We know them. We trust them. They help people. If you're ever injured, just call 612-TSR-TIME. They will take good care of you. 612-TSR-TIME. And it's just been, we know they'll do a good job for you. I don't need to sell you on that. It's just been great to work with them. It's great to see Steve Terry around the arena. They're true basketball fans. They are true Minnesotans. They are a great Minnesota success story. So just remember, 612-TSR-TIME. Let's hear about Royal Credit Union.
Choosing the right banking partner for your business is an important decision. Royal Credit Union supports your business needs now and into the future with flexible checking account options and digital tools to help streamline your business operations. Royal also helps take your business further with treasury management services, including ACH, sweeps, and positive pay. Choose Royal Credit Union for business checking. Get started at rcu.org/Royal Choice. Insured by NCUA.
Now let's also hear about Princeton's Liquors.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. We've been telling you about them for a long time now. Go to Princeton's Liquors, where the Princeton family has been in the liquor selling business for decades and decades. And when you go in there, you know that they know what they're doing, that they've been there forever, that they're going to continue to be there forever. You can rely on them for unbelievable selection of anything you want there, particularly craft beer and bourbon. Those are their two specialties. You can find an amazing array of craft beers and bourbons, unique stuff, stuff that everyone wants, expensive stuff, affordable stuff, whatever you need, they have it at Princeton's Liquors. Bill Princeton wore the Crunch mascot suit way back around the turn of the century. He is involved in basketball, has been a basketball fan for his entire life. And so, if you're a Wolves fan, if you're a Lynx fan, and you're trying to support people who are like-minded, go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. They're right in the wheelhouse with you. Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove.
So what are you hearing about the informal Timberwolves workouts going on right now?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about how there's been really good attendance, that you're seeing a lot of people, a lot of players come through and work out. And I think we spoke last week about Anthony Edwards just setting that tone and wanting to have people in Minnesota as much as possible working out together to build up. And he has been there. And just a little nugget that, for Wolves fans who are thirsty for that, I've heard that Johan Beranger has been working out in town, and one of the things that he does regularly in these workouts is guard Anthony Edwards one-on-one. And so when you think about what kind of ceiling they believe that Johan Beranger has, what kind of things they want to prepare him for to go against one of the best scorers in the league and to try and just stay in front of him and things like that, I think they believe that he can eventually, down the road, be the kind of defensive force that is not just a shot blocker at the rim, that is not just the big guy that eats up space in the paint, but someone who is nimble enough to switch out on pick and roll, to guard on the perimeter a little bit, and operate as much as like a kind of like a power forward type of a player as a center. And so, just kind of thinking about what those little matchups look like in the summer is really fun to, an 18-year-old French kid, probably hearing words he's never heard before from a 24-year-old kid from Atlanta, and them just going at each other. It is like, it's fun to think about. And it's also, I think, like interesting for Ant, because now he is going into year 6 and now he is the superstar and you have the young guys who are looking up to him and want to measure themselves against him. And so there's just a really cool dynamic, thinking the two of them going against each other, making each other better. And Ant really kind of playing a little bit of a role in developing Johan Berenger and getting him ready for his rookie season. That's just kind of tantalizing.
I was talking to Lavelle the other day. He had just covered a Lynx game, and he was just raving about what it's like to talk to Courtney Williams. She just cuts it loose. She just says whatever's on her mind. And he's like, there's something about athletes from Georgia. Ant.
Oh my God.
Ant and Courtney are two examples. They have their own way of expressing things, and it is very blunt and very funny.
And like you can see that it works for both of them so well. Courtney's becoming a social media star, like her and Heidemann with their stud buds, and the things that they are understanding very well, that kind of genuine authenticity and that gregariousness shines through, and people connect with it at a remarkable level. And so that can very much work. I think Ant is less worried about that. That's just who he is. And I think that's what Courtney is as well. But the refreshingness when an athlete is just willing to be themselves and let the public know who they are and not hide at all, or not, kind of retreat to the vanilla cliches and things. It's just so much fun. And Courtney's got a lot to feel good about right now with the way the Lynx are playing, with the way that she is playing. I think they play the Liberty again tonight after beating them the other night. And she played very well in that game. So man, that's a wagon right now for the Lynx, and they're steamrolling forward.
Amazing. The challenge as a writer is, how do you find something different to say other than, oh my God, they're great. Oh my God, Cheryl Reed's a great. I mean, it's like, I feel to write accurately about the team, you have to say same things you've been saying for a while now, which is Collier's incredible. Reeve is incredible. They've done an incredible job of putting this roster together. They played beautifully together. I mean, winning at this rate without Collier is not something I would have anticipated, but I didn't really anticipate any of the stuff that's happened in the last year and a half with this franchise.
No, it's great. And I've touched on it a little bit, but I was in Miami when Ray Allen hit the three against the Spurs in the finals, and then they won. They ended up winning the championship in the next game, and the Spurs had Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, and Kawhi, and they lost that series when they should have won it like two different times. And this was kind of the old guard, like, is this the last gasp of the Duncan, Parker, Ginobili Spurs? And did they leave it all on the floor? And was that going to be the end of it when they lost to the Heat in that series? And this is entirely different because the Lynx are younger, but the Spurs came back the next year and they were a machine, and they just cut through everyone and steamrolled the playoffs and won the championship. And they used that disappointment from the Heat loss as fuel. And they just, had a mentality from the very first game all the way through that we're going to do things differently and you guys don't stand a chance. And that's just what I see from the Lynx, is that they may have gotten jobbed in the finals. They may, whether you want to look at the refs beat them or whatever it is, they lost an incredibly heartbreaking series, and they have come back and not feeling sorry for themselves. They have come back to stomp the rest of the league. And that just mentality and that approach is just incredibly fun to watch. And it's really, really cool to see.
I've read a lot about rock stars, music stars. I've watched documentaries, I've read books, autobiographies, biographies, and I think there's a commonality between great rock stars and great coaches, and it's they're bothered by everything. It's like, there's an internal motivation to say what you need to say, or to get things right, and I think you see that with Cheryl Reeve. I mean, she hated what happened in New York, and she's so competitive. She was going to use that for every bit of motivation she could get for herself and her team this year. And I'm not saying she's right to do it, but you have to have a certain personality and a certain expertise to be able to convert those feelings into what we're seeing this year.
Absolutely. When you think about the way that, just the way that she has had to coach differently throughout her years and adapt to different rosters, to the changing landscape of the league, all of these things, it's been really, really impressive. I think like there's more conversation to have about this, of course, but one thing that she does is that she leads that team deftly, but also when it's time to use the iron fist, she uses it. And it can be incredibly demanding, and it can be hard on people, and she can put pressure on people. But what is shown time and time again is she has a way of tapping in and bringing the best out of everyone that she gets. And whether they love her to death and they will run through a wall for her that way, or whether, right now I hate this and I'm pissed off and I'm just going to play hard that way, man, she pushes the right buttons. And with this group, without all of the future Hall of Famers, without just the overwhelming talent advantage, now they are scheming and they're executing at such a high level that it's a different style of domination. And I think that if they're able to kind of finish this off and win this title, this would be the most impressive title that she's ever won.
Yes.
And just the nature of what she has and what she's up against is, something that it's incredible. That longevity, and for the way that she leads it to not have burned out over this time, it's something unique for sure.
And Annie Constable, who discovered the Chicago Sky for the Chicago Sun-Times, now she's working for Front Office Sports. She was in town to do a big piece on the Lynx. We were talking, and we were wondering how many people really realize how close this franchise has come to having 6 titles and heading for a 7th. I mean, they should have beaten the Sparks in 2016, and they should have won at New York last fall. They could be chasing a 7th title since 2011, which, I mean, what they've done is already pretty unprecedented, but that would be, it's a shame that those things didn't happen because they'd be chasing true history here.
It's amazing. And in some ways, like I find that almost even more impressive in terms of, we do see that teams that get right to the edge and then lose can fall apart or can splinter or can, just not be able to continue to summon what you need to get back into position to win again. And the fact that she has just constantly found ways to get them either to the title or to the brink of a title, it's amazing. And I think, 7 titles would obviously be better than 4, but in some ways, for her to have the 4 and come as close as she has, and the Lynx have the other couple times, and yet still keep going, it is impressive in its own right. And in just like the way that they are able to continuously figure out ways to get back and not give up, not let go of the rope, not do all those things. I still think like they're the class of the league. It's funny, like, the Valkyries are getting a ton of press this year, and rightfully so. Like they've got a great home court. They're new, they're fresh, they're doing all this stuff. But meanwhile, I think like you look at organizations that are the class of the league, and the Lynx are right at the top. And that's why Alex Rodriguez and Mark Laurie have both said it. Like, in terms of their involvement, they're going to be around, they're going to be present, they're going to be there to help, but they're like, we don't want to screw this up. We're just you just do your thing, Cheryl. We'll be there to help you, but you got this. Like, that is the least of their concerns as they are taking over this entire franchise. The Lynx are just a self-sustaining, behemoth, and they're just saying, Cheryl, you got this.
Yeah, and that's good to hear because that is the right approach. All right, let's get to our Twitter question. Let's also get to the NBA schedule being released. First, though, John, tell us about True Vision Institute.
TrueVision.com is the place to go. True Vision Institute in Bloomington. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see no glasses for me. And I've told you about the convenience that it's been for me in my life, but I'm just going to tell you what it would mean for you. And if you go into True Vision and you go through the consultation and you meet the people that are involved, including Dr. Chu, but including the army of assistants and helpers that he has there to get you from point A to point D, which is getting whether you're LASIK or another vision correction operation or help. It's going to be one of the easiest and kind of one of the most enjoyable experiences you've ever had. And that shouldn't be the case when you're having a medical procedure. It should be painful. It should be a pain in the butt. It should be a hassle. None of that is the case with True Vision. They take care of you from the start to the finish. They do not pressure you. They get you to a point that tells you what the best vision correction situation is for you, and then they find a way to get you there. And when you go through the process with True Vision, you will be just blown away by how helpful they are, how supportive they are, how encouraging they are, and how you feel coming out of it. And I cannot recommend True Vision enough for just the overall experience, let alone the end result, which has been great vision for me for more than, a year and a half now, basically, and going forward. But go to TrueVision.com and set up your consultation and just let them take you through things. You will not be disappointed in this. It's just a great place. Local company, TrueVision.com.
We'll end the show with our Twitter question from Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line. What's going on with SGA these days?
SGLambchops.com is the place to go for all of your favorite casual wear. 20% off if you use the promo code JONK20. And they have incredibly affordable, incredibly high quality t-shirts, hats, shorts, hoodies, pants, sweaters, whatever you want, they have it at Lamb Chops. And you wear Lamb Chops around downtown Minneapolis, you're going to have a lot of admirers and a lot of other people that are wearing it. It is really exploding. I was just wearing the shorts recently at a local kind of festival and kind of fair in my neighborhood, and a couple people, hey, Lamb Chops, I have some of those as well. And it's just really comfortable, really stylish stuff that you can either go out on the town in, that you can lounge around at home in. Go to sglambchops.com, promo code JONK20 for 20% off anything at Lamb Chops.
So what does the NBA schedule tell us about the NBA's view of the Minnesota Timberwolves these days?
Yeah, it was not long ago, the first year that they went to the playoffs in this new iteration when they went and played Memphis and lost in the first round, Jim. They had one game on ESPN and TNT, and that was it. One national TV game. They had some NBA TV games, whatever. Now, going forward here into this next season, they'll have 28 national TV games. And that is, I think, only Oklahoma City, the Lakers, the Knicks, and maybe one other team have more. And so that does tell you kind of what the league thinks of Anthony Edwards, what the league thinks of the Timberwolves. I think that there is more of a belief that this is a sustainable kind of competitive environment here. I think the first year or two of the Wolves being in the playoffs again, it's like, okay, are they for real? Are they not? And so there still the number of national TV games was muted a little bit, but now you have one of the brightest stars in the league that every, whether it's NBC or Peacock or ESPN, they all want him on their screens. And they also believe that the Timberwolves are going to be playing meaningful games, all the way through this. And so, to see all of the national TV games that they have and to see them playing on Christmas, to see them playing these high profile and featured games, it just shows you that the Timberwolves are now one of the teams that are box office. And to think about how far they have come from not only that first D'Angelo Russell Cat Squad, but also from, the middle of the 2000s and how terrible it was and how, they were just completely ignored to where they are now. It's a pretty, they've come a long way. Let's just say that.
Yes. And the seasons have been a blast. As I loved Chris Finch's quote during the exit interview last season. He said, and if you have children listening, you want to bleep out the next second here. They said, "Hey, this shit never ends well." You're always going to be, and,
That's right.
and that should be a T-shirt. It should be a bumper sticker. It should be a meme. That's the reality. I mean, I didn't like the way they played in their last game. Certainly, we didn't like the way they played against Oklahoma City. They got beat by a superior team. It's going to happen. You cannot never let the frustration of the moment obscure the big picture. And the big picture is this team has been so much fun for years now, and it looks like it's going to continue to be a lot of fun for years to come.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things is that, when they made the Rudy Gobert trade, it was, boy, did they sacrifice their future for the immediate. And they really haven't, because Ant is 24. Jaden McDaniels is going to be 25. Naz Reid's 25, 26. And then you have Baron Shea, you have Dillingham, you have, DiVincenzo is young. They have a lot of young players. Certainly Rudy and Mike are both aging and getting to the end of it. But they have a wealth of young talent, a wealth of it. And this is sustainable going forward for the next several years, at least. And they have some flexibility because of some of the contracts that they have signed and things like that to continue to be nimble and continue to build around Ant for the foreseeable future. And so they are a reliable bet right now for the league's television partners, not only this year, but going forward, that they're at least going to be interesting and they're at least going to be in the mix. Whether they win a title or not, who knows? But to be in that mix it says something.
Yes, no doubt about it. All right, let's get to the Twitter question of the day, sponsored by Shepherd Goods Lamb Chops clothing line.
Yeah, let me find it right here. This one comes from Ben Landowski, and it was, someone else kind of said, I love this question, so we're giving it to Ben here. What are some changes to operations Laurie and A-Rod are making in season one that might be invisible to fans, but will make a tangible difference? And so I'll say this about that. Whether this is invisible or not, let's answer it this way. Most of the things that we're seeing from the basketball side of the operations are not changing. Tim Conley, Chris Finch, the roster is really much in the same. Laurie and Rodriguez were pretty active and had at least some input in how this roster was built and over the last several years. Even in the middle of all of the mess with Glenn Taylor, there was at least some sort of understanding input on how that went. And so they want stability and they want continuity there. On the business side, I think is where you're going to see more changes that you won't see on the court. Like a new CEO is not going to change things for you on the court as a fan or with the team, but it might change what kind of experiences are happening around the arena. That they have talked about the changing the stage lighting, in the arena, which is not invisible, but is something that does not affect the on-court product, but will change the feel. They just today kind of officially, I think, launched the Jump app, which is it's still the Timberwolves app that is on your phone to buy tickets and do things, but everything is going to be more organized in the app so that you can buy tickets there, you can trade tickets there, you can upgrade your tickets in game there, you can buy merchandise, you can buy food, everything is going to be much more centrally located. And so that's going to be different for the fan experience than the old app with an outside ticket vendor that was kind of connected that way. And so I think that there's going to be more tangible changes to sort of fan experience, the way the arenas run on game night, some of the things that are available to fans that will be, not, hey, who's the starting point guard? Hey, what are they doing to combat the zone against them. Those are the things that are going to be more significantly changed under Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez than anything on the basketball side. So that's what I would look for as a fan. You look for, there'll be subtle changes and there will be kind of bigger changes in the operations, game night, around the games, to change the way that fans experience it. And then it'll be up to you to decide, hey, do you really, really like this or do you not? But that's going to be the significant parts of it that are changing in a Mark Lore, Alex Rodriguez regime in year one of their reign here.
I mean, you've been around the NBA. Do you like theater lighting?
I do. I like it. I will say that it was never something that I clamored for or like, it's like, oh man, this is so much better. I will say when you're in the arena, like Staples Center has arena lighting for just the Lakers. They didn't have it for the Clippers back in the day, but just like, and when you're there and you're sitting in your seat and you're watching the game, it doesn't feel that much different. It feels a little different, but not that much. But certainly on TV, it looks much different. The TV product of having it kind of darkened around, and then just having the court illuminated, it makes for, I think, a cooler feel and a cooler watch. And so, that said, like I think it's like more than like $1 million. Like I don't quote me, like $1.6 million to make the change from what they have, at Target Center to what they do. And then you have to go through this whole approval process with the city because it's a city owned building. And so it's not as simple as putting different light bulbs in or having a dimmer switch, on the lighting. It's a big deal, but yeah, I think on TV, the court, it will look cooler. But when you're in the arena, I don't know that you're going to notice a whole lot different.
Money in sports, man. I still remember it was a big deal. The Twins gave Kirby Puckett, best player in the history of the franchise, key player on 2 World Series championships. They gave him $6 million a year. And he became the highest paid baseball player, at least for a brief time. And now $6 million a year gets you a mediocre backup infielder. It's just amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's a massive topic. We won't dive into it now, but my God, the way money in sports has changed. I'm going to sit here and say 1.6 million. It's nothing. It's nothing in the realm of modern sports. It's absolutely nothing. If it improves the game day production or the way it looks on TV by 1%, you might as well do it.
Yeah. And I will say this, it's not my money either. Right. So I say, yeah, spend it. Yeah, go ahead. What's it? Yes. Yeah, I'm not cutting that check. So I may be sitting up in the nosebleeds next year because of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll rent a helicopter to get to our seats. It's okay. Great stuff, John. Thank you. Also, check out the Viking Update Show with John. Just check out TalkNorth.com. 3 NFL shows, a bunch of hockey shows, including Michael Russo, Lavelle Neal, Roy Smalley, and myself on baseball, and the Chin Music Show, Randy Shaver's High School Football Show, Mark Rosen Sports Monday, Dawn Mitchell's on Dawn of Sports, her interview show, new fantasy football show. We have great stuff. So check it out. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.